Hello everyone. So today I'm going to start the second part of the personality, that is personality and consumer behavior. In the first part of the personality and consumer behavior, we have already discussed about what personality is all about and what are the different theories of personality. So we'll start this part 2 with the first theory, that is Freudian theory of personality. So I'll just take you along to the Freudian theory itself and just see how what is the marketing implications of the same. Talking about the Freudian theory, that Freudian is a psychologist, and he says that as you can see in the slide itself, this is a picture of an iceberg. I think you all are very much aware about what iceberg is all about. If you see the picture itself, only 20% of the part of the iceberg is visible to all of us. Rest 80% is immersed inside the water. So Freudian has compared the psychological aspect or the consciousness of a consumer with the iceberg itself. He believed that we as a consumer or we as a marketer can only see 20% of the part of the consumer consciousness, which is very much visible to all of us. Rest 80% is immersed, so we are not able to see that. Let's see what Freudian has talked about. He clearly says that icebergs, just as majority of the iceberg remain within the water and only tip of the iceberg has been seen. Similarly, our personality is also like that, where below our, even we as a consumer are not very much aware about that what is in our unconscious mind, and that clearly affect our personality, which result even in the consumer buying behavior. Even we as an individual is not aware about the content and process of unconscious mind, which clearly impact our behavior and impact our buying decision. So Freudian has divided the entire consciousness of human into three parts. That is talking about unconscious mind. If you can see in the picture itself, that unconscious mind comprises, if you just see of the iceberg itself, 20% is visible at the upper side. Unconscious is outside of our awareness at all time, and if you just see, that is very much deep inside. Even we are not very aware about what we are having in our unconscious mind. Second is talking about the precautious mind. Precautious mind state lies between cautious and uncautious stage. And precautious stage comprises of all the information that we are not currently aware of, but yes, we can recall something if we correlate with certain kind of stimuli or certain kind of link between our previous experience itself. The third state of the mind is known as the conscious state. That is the current state of mind that we generally know. If we as a consumer go in the market and start buying some certain things, we generally have certain assumptions or factors in our mind, that is known as we are in a very cautious stage. So Freudian says that it is very important as a marketer to understand that specific 80% of unconscious state of the consumer, what is there in their mind, because that is indirectly also affecting the consumer behavior. So if marketer is very well much about that 80%, so we are able to design the strategy accordingly and able to create a specific need for those brands which consumer is having at in unconscious stage. Freudian says that human personality will consist of, because of these stages, into id, ego and superego system. The first system is known as id, second is known as superego, and third is talking about ego. What is id? I think you all must have learned in your previous classes when you're talking about organization behavior. Id is once again a psychological aspect which is taking care of the need or drive what we as a consumers are having, just like hunger, thirst and sex, which are driven by pleasure principle. And we as a consumer want immediate gratification of the same without keeping in mind anything else. We want whatever things we are having in mind, we always want to achieve at that point of time at any cost. I think with this picture you are able to understand it more clearly, where you can see that it is an instinctive pleasure seeking element. It is a repository to strong urgent drive, largely childish, very much correlated to the childish behavior, irrational, never ever satisfied, demanding, and destructive of others. We can also say that it is a warehouse of primitive or instinctual need of which individuals seek satisfaction. Moral, belief, goodness, and even evils, whatever is as non existing the stage of id. It is also a storehouse of all instinct, original and the most basic human personality. Something very important point which I want all of you to emphasize and ponder upon, that it is the original and basic human personality, which is a first ecosystem of the personality what generally consumers are having. Second state, what Prudence talked about, the superego. Superego is related to the individual internal expression of society, moral and ethical code of conduct. It derives the individual to fulfill their needs in a very socially acceptable function. I think just go back and correlate. In it, you have seen the person is having very childish behavior. Whatever demand, whatever needs they're having, they want to gratify as soon as possible at any cost. On the other hand, super ego is talking about internal expression where we want to achieve something, where we want to satisfy a need, but we want to keep the society moral and ethical code of conduct into the mind. So once again, with this picture, I think you are able to correlate super ego more nicely. Super ego is the noblest thought, ideas, feeling acquired from parents, teachers, friends, and religion. It also driven by authority, parents, and other moral officials in the society. It is an individual internal expression of society moral and ethical code of conduct. One point about superego which I want you to even jot down also, it inhibit the impulsive behavior of id. So id on the other hand is very childish, and superego is very much taking care of the moral and ethical concept of the society under which he wants the consumer to behave accordingly. Then come the role of ego, the third part. That is once again a cautious control of the individual itself that balance the demand between id and superego. So we have id on the one side, very childish. Second is talking about there's a superego, which is very much taking care of the ethical and moral code of concept. So ego is a third stage which keep a balance between id and superego itself. The process is entirely within the cautious element. It is in the cautious state of the consumer itself. So this is how they build up balance between id and superego. So id is the devil, and the way around, the superego is the angel, and ego is balancing between the brain, trying to sort out what each is advocating more objectively and logically to arrive at a certain decision. I'll just take you to one of now another question come, how marketer can use their specific id, super ego and ego into the marketing strategy, because I already shared with you the three of the state are there in the mind of the consumer. So I'll just take you to one of the very interesting ad of Levi's, how in the specific advertisement they have used id in terms of taking care of that specific cautious state of the consumer in terms of promoting their brand. Just go through this. Fine. So I think you are able to correlate how in specific advertisement, Levi's is taking the id factor into consideration while designing a specific ad for the set of consumer. I'll take you to another very interesting ad of BlackBerry in context of the Indian consumer, how they have talked about a ego between balance between id and super ego. What is the role of id and super ego in terms of catering to the consumer itself? Just see how they have done that. So this is how even the BlackBerry has used the concept of id, super ego, and ego in his promotional strategy. Even this on the screen which you can talk about, there's a different variant of TVS. And all the variant they've catered all the different personality. You can talk about id, super ego, and ego state of the consumer, talking launching a different kind of variants and catering to the different cautiousness of the consumer. So this is all about the Freudian theory itself. I think you are able to understand it very well. The concept of id, super ego, and its application in the marketing concept. How marketer can imply this concept of uncautious, cautious state, and precautious stage into the marketing strategy. I'll take you to the another two theories of personality into the next session itself. Till then, thank you very much.